Sure. Sure. That would be fine. Yeah, are you kidding? It's my pleasure. I would love to. Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah, so how many, right, so how many copies do you want me to send? 4. Yeah. Yeah, I still have them. Sure. Sure, so just send me an email with all of the details, your address and everything, and I'll send them over first thing in the morning. Okay, great. Great. No, thank you. Why are you thanking me? I should be thanking you. Thank you so much. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Okay, don't forget to send me a picture when you get the copies, okay? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Sure, have a good night. Bye. Oh, hi, guys. I didn't realize we were already live. I would not have taken that phone call if I knew. But you guys just got to witness a little fun. Someone just called me to order 4 signed copies of Shattered Illusions, so I'm really excited. Welcome back. Today we are finishing Chapter 4. We're starting on the bottom of page 38. We have about 3.5 pages to read left of this chapter. Excellent. Okay, here we go. Oh, in case you guys need a refresher of what the first half of this chapter was, just you never know because it's been a couple weeks since we started reading this chapter. We were introduced to a new character, Danny Michaels from Perth, Australia, and in the first half of the chapter we meet his family. We learn about his personal background, his criminal background, and his parents announce to him that they're sending him to live in the United States with an uncle that he's never met, a excommunicated uncle that he's never met. Okay, so here we go. I will not bore you with the details of my life in Louisiana. I thought that, by leaving Perth, I was leaving behind the anger and the pain that I was tortured by for a new and possibly more exciting life. What I found was an extremely boring life in one of the smallest truck stops in the contiguous United States. Woodland, Louisiana is a hole in the ground in the middle of nowhere. In case you think I'm kidding, allow me to introduce you to the world I was sucked into. Population, 800, most of whom are related to each other. The entire town covers over 26 square miles. The Main Street shops are all owned by the same 6 people, and every store is exactly the same except for the modern Italian cafe at the end of the street. The mayor is also manager of the hardware store at the edge of town, and the owner of the only coffee shop. Do you want a better description? Okay, close your eyes. No, I'm not going to rob you of everything you're worth when they're shut. Just do as I say, okay? Now that your eyes are closed, I want you to dream up the simplest, freest lifestyle you can in a world so small that the beginning is also the middle and the end, in which your thoughts bump into those of the person sitting next to you and across from you, who are, in a sense, the same person. It's a place where you have absolutely no privacy, as if your entire life is jam-packed into a tiny clown car totaled up against a wall and held together by a single thread. Do you have that image firmly fixed into your mind? Good, let's continue then. This world is humble and quaint, peaceful and simple. Got it? Good. With the 800 people, mayor, coffee shop, donut shop, 6 general stores, 1 Italian cafe, you have Roland. Any questions? It might sound like the charming place for a person searching for a simple life to settle in. I, however, am not one of those people. And let me tell you, my Uncle James isn't either. So don't ask me what he's doing here. I just washed up here, was his excuse when I asked him. James is weird. That much I can tell you for certain. He doesn't look bad for someone in his late 50s, though. In fact, Mother Nature has been working quite nicely with him. His stature is still broad and tall and extremely intimidating. He looks like the Hulk, but with streaks of silver running through his jet black hair. Nothing about his face hints to rage or anger. He's one of the calmest people I've ever met. Almost too calm. Then again, not everyone plasters their emotions across their faces. It could be that he's drowning in a pool of guilt, or that his murderous acts don't faze him at all. Either way, there's still something off about him. I'm just not sure what it is. We don't talk much. We exchange friendly glances in the morning over a cup of coffee before I head to school or he to work, but we don't have much to say to each other. How was school? Fine. How was work? Same old. Did you get into any trouble? Do you really think I would tell you if I did? End of conversation. I like it better that way. I'd rather the silence. It's liberating. I think it would be wise of me to fill you in on why my father and James are not on friendly terms. James is a deadbeat, plain and simple. My dad was the responsible one, the elder of the 2. James is 3.5 years younger, and my dad always felt the need to protect him and care for him, especially after their mom died. Their dad worked full-time, and when my dad graduated, he went to work for his father. They did not have an easy life. They really had to stick together to make ends meet. While my dad did all the work, James smoked and used the money he had to buy drugs. Typical. I do not credit my dad with doing much good in his life, but he did pick up his brother's slack on more than one occasion. The second that diploma was in James's hand, he took off. He didn't stay around to help my dad run the business their father had left behind. He just split, and nobody knew where to. No note, no phone number, not even a goodbye. He was just gone. My father tried fruitlessly to find him, sending out search parties, posting flyers everywhere. At worst, he believed, James had boarded a flight to Melbourne. Make that the United States. My father didn't hear from him for 7.5 years. When James finally did try to get in touch, my parents had already met, married, settled down, and had their first child, my older sister Stacy. My dad cut him out of his life, refusing to reconnect with the brother who had abandoned him. James waltzed back in anyway, as he pleased, returning to Australia to try and start over. My father never intended him to. It was my mother who tried to connect these two lost souls. I wonder if she knew how much damage it would end up causing. The last time my father and James spoke was the year that I was born. In 1987, James was arrested in New Orleans after a police chase that began in the city he had settled in. His crime? Purposely ramming his car into oncoming traffic while under the influence of alcohol and several drugs, and killing 6 people, including the wife of Mr. Marco Santorini. Fate has a strange way of coming around. His motive, he later told the judge, was to make the people in those cars feel the pain he had felt that morning when he got into his. My father flew to the United States to bail him out. And how was he thanked for his act of kindness? James socked him in the face and told him to leave before he killed him too. The legal system found James not guilty by reason of insanity, and after extensive rehab in a psychiatric prison facility, he was eventually released. James and my father have not spoken since. So let me ask you, why in the world did my parents ship me to live with a murderer, a thief, a no-good excommunicated relative, when the worst I had done was steal and peddle prescription medication? You don't have an answer? Neither do I. On July 15, 2007, I witnessed the murder of Sam Knightley outside of his apartment building on Main and 5th. I had just left the corner market at the end of the street with a half a case of beer stuffed into the pockets of my jeans. I was feeling pretty good about getting away with it, too, until I turned the corner when the cry of a horror-stricken woman stopped me dead in my tracks. I saw 3 people, a gun, a cell phone, a purse, and a masked assassin. I saw the whole thing plain as day. Blood on the street, a runaway killer, the cops showing up. I saw all of it from where I was standing, but somehow none of them managed to see me. I turned around quietly and strolled back up the street. I drank myself silly before going to the police. 2 people were already there when I arrived. They had seen it too. They hadn't done anything about it either. It wasn't until they released Sarah Grigg from questioning that it all suddenly made sense. If you're trying to piece everything together now, don't. You'll give yourself a headache. Okay, end of chapter 4. The plot thickens. We are finally introduced at the end of chapter 4 to the murder, which strings these 4 characters together. So let's do a recap. We've been introduced to Ella, Marco, now Danny, and in next week's video we'll be introduced to Sarah. We've also been introduced to an unnamed voice. There are several different opinions from many different readers about the voice, but I'll let you guys decide as the story progresses whose voice that is. So that's all for now. Don't forget, if you'd like to order signed copies, you could do that. Well, you could call me, as you saw earlier. You could message me on Facebook. You could check the PayPal link at the website, which will be in the down there. It's also available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great night, evening, day, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Just have a fabulous, fantastic day. Okay, bye.